So what is it that will allow me to understand the reality and actuality of time in daily life? Is there something other than this field of conflict that can operate there?
And you also phrase it as like, what is it that's holding that relationship together? Like, I feel like the way you posed the question was, there's the actuality and reality of time, and the relationship is like conflict. No? You said, what is it that...
There's a reality to time. To meet my appointments, I have to understand the reality of time.
Okay.
For time to be a reality, it must be measured.
Mm-hmm.
The actuality of time may not be measured. The movement of psychological becoming is rooted within the process of physical becoming. Which is time. Time not merely psychologically, but also physically.
Like materially?
Uh-huh.
Like the gathering of matter?
The movement of it?
Which occurs like mechanically. Like collision and then connection. Connection is like a gathering, yes. Like collision and like gathering. But like physically.
Mm.
And this is, you said this is the physical or psychological is related to this.
Mm. Time is necessary for living. One needs time to go from here to there. One
needs time to speak a language, learn it, develop it, refine it, consider the audiences for it. Need time.
One needs time to digest food. One needs time
to sleep,
to rest, to sleep.
Yes.
So time is necessary. But
I see.
when thought thinks about time,
it renders it psychologically, and we're saying,
as a psychological process of becoming, then the trouble starts.
Right. Like time not as it exists necessarily, like as that gathering of matter, collision. But even this may be considered psychologically, if I may speak of that actuality. And then we render time psychologically and begin to think that this psychological rendering is necessary. And now some trouble begins, potentially.
Time that is measured psychologically in relationship to the observer.
I see. I'm waiting for a bus to come. And like it's taking too long to get here.
Yeah.
It has a different quality to it. The measurement of that measurement has a different quality to it. The first measurement would be, like, in fact, the time it took for the bus to get there. Like, that's in fact the time that it took. Like, just as, like, that is what happened.
As measured either by the watch or the body.
Yes. Oh, I see. Like that, you're saying by the watch as in like the oscillation of that crystal in the watch. And then by the body would be also like the oscillation of the changing states of the body, and like that's how time is felt. And then there's the second measurement of that measurement, which is it has this particular flavor, which is like displeasurable.
The psychological content.
Yes. Why did it take so long? Lazy bus driver, stupid schedule, stupid city, stupid transit system. But I'm being very tongue-in-cheek about it.
Time experienced as a division between the past, the present, and the future. So time is necessary.
Because like the bus needs to get here in time. Like,
and I have to get there in time for the bus.
Yes. So it means I need to sleep and eat and digest.
So time is necessary, and yet the movement of psychological time is a danger.
If it is.
If one sees the fact of it. So part of living is understanding the reality and the actuality of time.
Which is understanding the relationship between that psychological and the physiological. Like seeing their relationship.
So putting aside, even momentarily, this movement of psychological becoming, one can ask the question whether there is a completely different way of living. What is it that will allow me to understand my way of living, for which time is necessary? Is it perception? Perception, which is the operation of intelligence in daily life. Perception such that there is no interval between perception and action. But rather, the very perception itself acts. Perception which perceives the whole nature, structure, and cause of conflict. And so ends it. Is that the factor that will allow us to understand our whole way of living and so move away from it?
I see, such that perception may take place in terms of time, but also not in terms of time.
Perception of the actuality and reality of time.
Mm-hmm. So like that.
Which its relevance to daily life.
Yes, yes, yes. Which like involves time and its terminology. And I think, and the way I was rendering that was, I probably wouldn't have used the word perception, but like it's a good word. That which is holding together that relationship.
Take a simpler case so that I don't get lost in the complexity, but in the context of a previous discussion, upon the comment that intelligence doesn't take place in time, you added, and also intelligence is not in space. The perspective that intelligence is not in space is an inference from the fact that intelligence is not, or perception rather, does not take place in time.
I see. I see. Such that one sees that time is an iteration of space in the first place. But like I'm doing it in reverse order. Because time is a thought. And so once itself gets negated, it says, well, like the space goes as well. Mm-hmm. I see.
And the thought has an awareness of the negation of time, but not the negation of space.
Right. So, although it's tempted to negate it, once like its very essence gets negated, mm-hmm. It says, well, if this goes, then like everything goes, is what it's saying. Very well. You're suggesting that like the reality of time, so past, present, and future, and the relevance of unmeasured time to this reality of time, that this is bound by intelligence. You're saying this is like a refined thought. Okay,
it's the beginning of a construction of a system.
Mm-mm.
Such that intelligence is being characterized in terms of thought.
In terms of, I see.
In terms of effects which thought does not directly observe.
I see. Which is a matter of perception. I see.
Thought can observe the effects of intelligence on the cause and end of conflict, because thought is a movement in time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it would be part of that mechanical process. It's beginning and ending. I see. But you're suggesting that the relevance and relationship is one thing, but then like the perception of this relevance and relationship is another thing. And characterizing this perception of the relationship as a relationship is a product of refinement of thought.
I don't know if you'll be able to extract any of that is relevant to our viewers, but I think it's like an interesting thing to catch. It's like the distinction between a description and an inference based on the description, which might be valid, but like begins to move like away from actuality, like begins to move into abstraction.
I see. And so like intelligence stops.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, like if the inference is valid, like one presumes if one like continues along the lines of that inference in a valid way, like actuality will be revealed somewhere down the line. But it's like a highly philosophical approach, disconnected from daily life, like lacking immediacy.
I see. So you're saying that perception is what will understand that movement of time. And then systematically, I had rendered that movement of time as the relationship between the actual and real time. I see. And I said, is it not the work of intelligence which entertains that relationship? And you're saying, well, it may very well be, but like the recognition of that work, like, is going to be a refinement in thought. Mm-hmm. And so again, like perception, which is the activity of that intelligence, which has nothing to do with the systematizing per se. Right? Even though that intelligence and perception may have a relationship to that thought and that system.
Perhaps we could speak about an intelligently crafted system.
Yes.
But one
system
has to be careful.
Right. But a crafted system won't be able to transcend itself, as it were, and be intelligent.
It's still put together by thought.
Yes.
The system is still put together by thought. I don't want to call it like a principle, but there is like a general feature of interest in what was discussed. But I don't know how much it could be condensed in a way that is valuable.
Right.
Okay. So with the operation of intelligence in daily life, which is perception, in that there is an understanding of the movement of becoming. And so becoming falls into its right place. So perception may be the additional factor which is required both to understand our way of living with its becoming physically, and also finding out, inquiring into, penetrating into a wholly other way of living.
Which means like penetration into that truth and necessity of living. Because the idea is that, I think the idea we found earlier was that we may not be living truly necessarily. Yeah.
What is the actual necessity in living? Is there any truth in it at all? And also, what is the nature and structure of that intelligence?
Which is perceiving?
Perception may take place momentarily, as a flash.
Oh, dear God.
But a flash of perception will not fundamentally change the whole way of living.
I see. If there's a flash of perception, that would mean that the perception has been rendered in psychological time. Like it's been rendered unnecessarily. Like an immature excavation.
Such that perception is born out of attention, but when the brain returns to a state of inattention, according to its patterning,
it craves attention. Energy.
And in that there's no operation of intelligence.
In that quality. Yeah.
So one must go very deeply into this question of intelligence.
Like in your daily life. Not like sit around and philosophize. It's not quite right.
Intelligence is not limited by knowledge.
Though it has its own knowing. Like it can produce knowledge. There's a question mark at the end of that sentence. I'm not sure if that's how I should word it.
Yeah.
But what is that relationship? Does it put it together?
Intelligence has a relevance to knowledge. Because that intelligence is accurate, true.
I see. Whereas knowledge is like precise, proximate.
Intelligence is not limited by time.
Like intelligence is putting it together about time, such that for intelligence to be limited by time, there would be like the conditions of time. But like intelligence is putting together the conditions about time. Like, what is the truth of it? What is the necessity of it? And so, like, where are the limitations?
For intelligence to operate in daily life, intelligence must operate in terms of time, such that time is relevant to intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, see the difficulty.
It can't say to itself, like, I'm free of time. Then it isn't free of time. Because like it's saying, here's the limitations of time, and here's where I exist. So it's actually like now it's conditioned by time. That is, it's defined its conditions according to the limits of time. And so, see the difficulty?
Consciousness is conditioned by knowledge.
Which means time.
Consciousness is limited to time. While the brain is operating with consciousness, not the right way of putting it. While consciousness, which is self-consciousness, human consciousness, which has a knowledge of itself, while that consciousness is operating in the brain as its reflexive mechanism, intelligence cannot operate in daily life fully. Because the brain is always returning to the pattern of that consciousness. Consciousness which has a knowledge of itself. And so consciousness which is basically conditioned by knowledge and time.
It finds explanations sufficient.
So while consciousness is operating, it's a barrier to the operation of that intelligence.
I see. Like you're saying, intelligence doesn't penetrate that limit.
So to inquire very seriously into this question of intelligence, one must inquire into the question of consciousness and the ending of consciousness, which is death.
Consciousness being conditioned by knowledge, which means time, in order to understand itself, must understand the end of time. Or the ending of time. Which means like the ending of history. Like human history.
Has this been put clearly? The importance of going into this question of death? Such that the brain is not limited to the operation of consciousness? Consciousness which is conditioned by knowledge and time?
No, but I am my consciousness. This is nonsensical. I don't understand.
Such that one must find out if it's possible for the body to continue on living without consciousness, without self-consciousness.
But see what happens when you come to this, I don't understand. This is nonsensical. See what happens. There's a recognition of that limit. Like knowledge analyzes, pushes itself over and over and over again, expands, contracts, and then gets to a point where it says, like, beyond this line, there's nothing. How can we understand it? How can we develop an understanding about that when I am living? Whatever you say about that, there's no knowledge of it.
Consciousness can never know its own end.
It only knows its continuity. But like, see what's happening in that. If anything is happening. Without returning to different iterations of its continuity, if possible.
I wanted to also talk about desire, but I feel like we've been talking for an awful long time.